Prefer comfort to beauty and like to take things lying down. This VELO car is not the answer to the lazy cyclist's prayer, but actually the most efficient cycling machine ever devised. Recently, so the editor of Cycling tells us, a new world track record of 28.5 miles in 1 hour was set up. And if the fashion spreads, it seems that with armchair racing, our tracks will present a curious spectacle in the near future. And how about armchairs for spectators, too?
And Miss Evelyn Hamilton, the champion cyclist. Whereas the pedals on the ordinary bike go round and around, below, the pedals on this machine are strictly on the level. Instead of sitting bolt upright or crouched over the handlebars, one can now recline with a superior air and a certain elegance that is denied the rider of the common coaster. The big difference is that one pushes out a pretty pedal instead of pushing it down, sort of trombone fashion, and the inventor claims that it's faster and less tiring. The great thing, of course, is to keep your knees up.
Claims his invention has taken the stiffness out of cycling. He is Russell Searle, a Banstead, Surrey engineer. With painful memories of old-style cycling, he designed and built this armchair bicycle. You sit in a spacious, adjustable seat, brakes are applied with a simple downward twist of the handlebars, and the backwards and forwards propelling action eases leg strength. Designer Searle's inverted penny farthing is the new look on the highway.
There is a bicycle with a steering wheel in place of handlebars, and a new kind of saddle. It's being demonstrated by Miss Evelyn Hamilton. That's part of her, I think. Champion lady cyclist, who's seen taking off the handbrake before the great adventure. The inventor claims that the steering wheel gives one a car complex at a fraction of the price. Now we're off. And one good point you'll observe is that the rider hasn't to sit crouched over the handlebars, which aren't there. Here they come, motorbikes without the motor.
Quanto al signor Silvio Montanari, ha tratto motivo per la sua invenzione da un semplice dato di fatto. In questo nostro mondo moderno tutto si evolve, salvo la bicicletta che, ove si escludano alcuni particolari di secondaria importanza, è restata del tutto simile a quella di 50 anni fa. La cosa non poteva evidentemente durare e quindi è nata quella che l'ingegnoso Montanari definisce nel suo brevetto un velocipede carenato, sopportante una cappotta flessibile e con pedivelle oscillanti, la cui fase alterna si trasmette alla moltiplica a linea di punto morto superata. Per noi profani la faccenda non è del tutto chiara, ma l'importante è, almeno a sentire l'ideatore, che con la sua bicicletta, oltre ad essere riparati dalle intemperie, la fatica del pedalare è ridotta della metà. Ed eccolo lanciare un nuovo tipo di senz'altro colma di avventurose vicende, quella del signor Dario Tognoli di Pieve di Coriano. E nonostante che ormai nello scrigno dei suoi ricordi si siano già accumulate 70 primavere, con ardore giovanile pensa ancora ad arricchire il suo nutrito carnet trasmissione ausiliaria anteriore, por un paio d'ore mantenendo comodamente la media dei 60 orari. Fausto Coppi, su una strada in sensibile pendenza nemmeno un'auto riesce a tenere il passo dello straordinario velocipede. Agevole.
If you live a long way from the shops and it's a toss-up whether to leave baby at home and cycle into town or just foot it and push the pram to get the shopping, here's the answer. A convertible perambulator designed by Mr. Clayton Wright, a Warwickshire engineer. It was the sight of small children strapped to the pillion seats of their parents' bicycles that gave Mr. Wright the idea. They always seemed so uncomfortable as they were jolted along on shopping expeditions. But now, in a matter of seconds, the pram becomes a comfortable sidecar fit for His Majesty to have a smooth run home while Mum does the pedaling. Just in case the weather turns out wet or windy on the way, that's been taken care of too, at least for baby. And as the handle is swung over to the back of the pram, 3 of the wheels automatically lift clear, leaving a one-wheel sidecar and reducing the danger of skidding. Quite the thing for the bouncing babies of today.
And he's getting away on a revolutionary bicycle. The cyclist is Alex Moulton, well-known designer of suspension units for cars. 5 years of development have produced the first bike with suspension. First real change in cycle design since the penny farthing became outmoded. The bicycle is now in production and could well convince people tired of car-packed roads that this is the answer to their problems. Alex Moulton, hungry for a bike that's not a bone rattler, invented the rubber-bonded sandwich. But the bike has many other advantages besides affording its rider a bump-free journey. A child of 11 will never outgrow it, and there's no crossbar to show its sex. The whole family can ride it without the slightest embarrassment. How's this for beating the traffic jams? It's the stowaway version. You drive until you can drive no more, with that breakthrough bicycle in the back. But there are many variations of this Moulton dream bike. The racing model, for example. The small wheels make pedaling easier and give terrific acceleration. 50 miles an hour is the speed. If Mr. Moulton can double it, we'll have ton-up kids on pedal bikes.
With places like Cornwall to visit, there's nothing like a bicycle for touring the countryside. And if, unfortunately, you can't use your legs, don't let that deter you, for here's a machine that's propelled by hand. Adapted by aircraft engineer Johnny Bird of Feltham, Middlesex, it enables him to travel more than 10,000 miles every year. Accompanied by his wife on a standard machine, Johnny pedals with one hand and steers with the other, using a 4-speed hub gear and 2-speed derailleur gear, 8 speeds in all, to reach performances like 25 miles an hour. Travelling 25 miles to work and back every day, Johnny, also an expert sculler and swimmer, has developed his arm muscles and stamina, so that today he takes in his stride personal records like London to Lincoln in a day and 850 miles.
A suited young girl. So, if she insists on one large wheel and one small, there's an easy answer. The farthing penny. The handlebars go round the back of what they call the donkey bike, but you don't need a carrot to make it go. And they made it collapsible, so girls who get fed up with fads can fold it up and board a bus. Just like that. Start, your problems end. And for the more conventionally minded bike riders, the handlebars do go round the other way. Pete Newby here is really a folk singer, and he saw the donkey bike on a visit to Frankfurt. The Germans call it the Mehrzweck Gesundheitsfahrrad, or multiple-use mobile health apparatus, because they take their cycling very seriously, saying you should ride with a straight back. That's the whole idea behind putting the handlebars round the other way. Pete Newby thinks it's time British cyclists sat up straight, too. So sit up and take notice. Health aid or not, the donkey's a bike that could be a boon in busy streets. Even if it isn't ideal for the long-distance ride, there are people who say the traffic problem would dissolve overnight if we took to pedaling on 2 wheels. Or in this case, 1 1/4. But however you choose to ride...
But even cars and horses have their limitations when it comes to a large family like the Fosters from Ruskington in Lincolnshire. So they've solved their transport problems in a most novel way. This 20th century wagon train is led by GPO clerk Jim Foster on his eye-catching bicycle made for four. As a family, the Fosters have been cycling for 10 years, starting with an ordinary tandem and sidecar. Today they have 14 bikes between the 10 of them, although this is the usual lineup. To go on holiday with a family of this size would probably need Mr. Foster's entire wages for the year. But refusing to be saddled, as it were, with rail fares and hotel bills, they pack their own tents. They can afford to get away as often as possible. You personally may think this is a pretty antiquated form of travel, but don't start putting a spoke in it. At least it impresses the scientists. They've never...
Pictures were taken in Tasmania, where cycle caravanning has become a craze, and there's a lot to be said for it. It gives you all the comforts of home without the running costs. The cycle caravan is a two-man-power affair, with the old velocipedes, bikes to you, set side by side, so that each one can see whether the other's doing his fair share of the pedaling. It's great fun hitching your hotel to a bike and pushing off any old where at any old time. And it's jolly good exercise, the sort of thing that turns a hee-hee man into a he-man. What an idea for a carefree
And you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle made for two. Of course, you remember the old jingle. Well, the modern idea of the bicycle made for two is catching on. It does at least stop the girlfriend from talking behind your back. Steered like a car, pedaled like a bike, the new tandem is great fun.
Pressure trouble. Lucky it's not a puncture, but the tyre still needs a spot of inflation. And here's the automatic pump. It inflates the tyre while you ride. Clamped to spokes, it can inflate a dead tyre to full pressure in 200 yards. Hey-ho for the open road. Happy cycling until the chain.
Not to take off. In Ealing, the nearest they allow to aviation is flights of fancy. So far, Ernie isn't quite satisfied with the screw, and his best speed is no more than 20 miles an hour. But never mind, the first aeroplane didn't fly the Atlantic, did it? So if you see something strange overhead someday, it may easily be Ernie.
It may never go into orbit, but it could win £5,000 for Graham Rouse, designer and builder of the pedal-powered helicopter, out for an airing at its hush-hush headquarters near Southampton. The big money is offered by industrialist Henry Kramer for the first man-powered flight of 1 mile in a straight line. As Mr. Rouse is no longer in his first youth, he's training a racing cyclist to make the attempt. But that may not be necessary. Graham's getting faster every day. It's a pity we can't stay and be the first to see him airborne.
At first sight, you'd say it's going to be a glider. Not at all. It's a powered plane, perhaps destined to bring £5,000 to the constructors. Down at Southend, these two young men hope to be the first to fly a man-powered aircraft in a figure-of-8 course of 1 mile. And that £5,000 is the prize offered for the feat. Anything that man can hope to pedal into the air has to be very light. So this plane is mostly balsa wood with a plastic skin and a minimum of metal. Adrian Reynolds and Andrew Drescher will soon be ready for practice hops. If they've had the plane off the ground at all so far, it's been in secret. Good luck to them and to the other competitors. £5,000, a nice prize if you can get it.